So late '93, we go. Let's see, late '93, Mac Mall stuff come out. Now I'm touring with him. Wow. You know what I mean? We getting out there. We seeing the world. '94, Mac Mall goes to Sony, and the end of '94, going into '95, we go to Atlantic. We do a giant deal. We in Atlantic right about the same time. The Interscope is leaving Atlantic. We're coming in Atlantic.
What advice would you give artists that are out there to, like, because, like, you know, some people are like, man, I want to get signed to a record label and stuff like that. Like, what steps did you take to get it to that level?
Well, first let me say this. The end game is not, that's a misconception. The end game is not being on a major label. The end game is building your own fan base.
Okay.
And you build it one person to another person. So I meet you, right? And you like, yeah, man, you know, I like it, man. Your stuff hot. Okay, whoop, I give it to you. Right. You pass it to your cousin. Man, have you heard this?
Yeah, yeah.
Word of mouth. That is your strongest thing. What I would say for a young artist is, man, get you a big list, you know what I mean, and emails, and send people out free songs. They like it. Now you starting to build your fan base. So when you have an event, man, won't y'all come out to my event, man? I'm going to be doing my thing. And then people come out. As you build on that fan base, that's when you get your real strength. That's when labels will come looking for you and whatever. But most of the major label artists that are, I mean, the big artists that are on major labels, once you get your own fan base, they're trying to get off the label. Because the label, back then, I had a great deal. I probably had one of the better deals. I was getting 18.5%, 18.5 cents on the dollar.
Wow. Most
people was getting somewhere around 10 cents on the dollar back then. You feel me? So that now is probably even worse, you know, because it's a 360. They call it a 360 deal, right? And what that is, they want some of everything. They want some of your merchandising. They want some of your show. You know what I mean? It's better to get with your folks, man, and really build your own business. And then once you build your own business, that's, you know, 40 of those dudes, man, they was making a lot of money before they signed to their major label. We was doing pretty good, man, before we signed. But the key is that Warner Brothers, Atlantic, Warner Elektra, Atlantic, came to us and was like, man, y'all want to be millionaires.
Wow.
And that
changed the game.
That changes everything. Because, like, yeah, I'm getting money, but yeah, man, I want to be a millionaire, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's when we busted that move, and we went to Warner Brothers, and it was good. It was positive for the time that I was doing it. But I like freedom. You know, I'm not just a rapper, you know what I mean? I like to have my freedom to do lots of different things, you know what I mean?
Can you not do when you're with a label?
Nothing. You can do what you're told. I mean, for real, if you sign to an artist deal, to a major label, you do what you're told, man. In a sense, my approach to it is this, is that I've seen a lot of artists get into a situation where they sign to a major label, but you like, how come they're not releasing product? How come I can't hear from them, right? Because the label decides when you get released. Some artists, you know, people play different parts. Think about this. For every Puff Daddy that's signed to a label, it's 700 records, 700 to 1,000 records that get released that you never ever hear about. And it's those records that fund the Puff Daddy records. So when you sign, it's like being in the NFL is great, but if you play for a terrible team with a terrible coach, you just signed. You just signed. You know what I mean? You're not going to the Super Bowl. You're not no closer to getting a ring.
So they pretty much own you.
Oh, they absolutely. Not only do they own you, they own your image, and in some cases, your name. That's why Snoop Dogg used to be Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Is right. Yeah. Wow. So how did it work with Tupac with Death Row?
Okay, now that's a bit different of a story. Tupac was already, people might not remember this, he was only on death row for 9 months. Right?
It seemed like a long time.
He was already the biggest rapper in the world.
When
he signed to death row.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That was much more of a political move, and it was much more of a strategic move rather than about fame or even more money. I would even argue the fact that he might even you know, lost some money by going to death row in the sense of now he's a part of a team, whereas he was a he was a solo. He was real independent.
What's the difference? Like you would say like of course they own everything you're doing, but what is the advantages of
the advantages is that you instantly can acquire worldwide notoriety. Instantly, you're selling records in Paraguay, Uruguay, in Finland, in France, and instantly. Whereas as an independent artist, I have to go to these different places and get distribution and you know, bust all these different moves, which people do. Back then, it used to be that you would sell a CD to Canada for 25 grand and they would just duplicate that CD. Now, because of the CD burning, the online stuff, it's substantially different. Yeah, MP3 is substantially different. So
coming from where the history you're coming from, and now the technology now that I mean, like we used to have tapes, and now we had CDs, it's MP3, iPods, and all this technology. What do you think would be the next successful move? Because I listen to record labels, and they're like, man, people are downloading, they're taking music from here and there, and it's so hard to push the CD game. What would be your input on the way the world is with the music now?
Well, artists have to do a lot more performing. I guess songs are most of the time record labels are pencil pushers. What they do is they count units. They don't care what that unit is. It could be pencils or cans or whatever.
Yes, yes.
The story I heard about Master P is that he sold 75 million serial numbers of stuff. Some were records, some were T-shirts, some were stickers or whatever. But he pushed everything all kind of up under the same type of umbrella. You dig? And that's the way a real corporation works, is that they dealing in units, whereas you as an artist is kind of like dealing in songs. It's a lot more personal for you. What I think is good about it, merchandise. What I think is good about it is that people can go on to iTunes from anywhere in the world, from Africa, and buy my song right now.
For an artist starting right now that's trying to get their music heard and stuff, and they're facing these problems with downloading music and all this stuff, like what would be your advice for an upcoming artist?
Well, I give you an example. My little brother's he's coming out of Baltimore. He's actually recording in Miami right now.
Nice.
His approach to it is that he knows that his stuff's going to get bootlegged. So he works it like a job, you know, basically 9 to 5 every day he's recording. Monday through Friday, he takes the weekend off. He's going to record 100 songs, give some away, and then try to get some money off of some, because you know that people is going to download your stuff. And it's not that it's even necessarily bad if those same people like what they hear and they willing to purchase from the artist that they get the free music.
So it's advantages and disadvantages.
Of course.